Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
So recording to the cloud is great because
this gave you that speed thing.
What's
You
that?
could do it faster, right? Like you could upload faster or something.
Yeah. But it also means that if I drop, it's just you and me tonight.
Shits.
So if I drop,
You don't care is what you're saying.
it's just you, but
All right.
But because when I drop and I'm recording to my local computer, we lose the conversation in between, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So now if and when we have guests again, we won't lose anything. So yeah. My friend Imran, who listens to this podcast, is laughing right now because he was giving me the gears. I'm staying with my current internet provider, who's been very good to me. I've been with them since 2011, right? And they've done a very good job. It just so happens that we switched to higher speeds on like the Rogers kind of cable lines, and they're really terrible.
We all got trapped into that bullshit.
Yeah. So
you need a better package. 1,950. Yeah, bullshit.
So I'm going back to the Bell base line, right? Like the DSL stuff, which is really stable. But he was giving me the gears because he was like, you need faster speed. Why aren't you overpaying for faster speeds? And I said, because I don't like to pay for things I don't need, right? And he was like, no, you need it. You need faster. And I was like, I don't need faster internet. So we had this whole back and forth conversation for I don't know how long. So
the problem is you have to, you know why? Because they do fool around with it. And then as you get close to being expired or a new program, all of a sudden, like we were supposed to renew something with Shaw, which is now Rogers, so same shithole.
Yeah.
Before the 14th of July or some freaking thing. Otherwise, the plan goes up, this and that. So I said, I don't care. No matter what we do, those guys, all they do is get us all tied up into this nonsense, right? Absolute nonsense. Mark's calling me. But Mark should just come on the podcast if he's got nothing else to do.
Wait, he's calling you now?
Yeah.
At like, quarter after 10?
I know.
Why didn't he just come on?
Let me
invite him. Copy invitation.
Honestly,
open email.
Like if you're gonna sit there, right? I mean, geez, Louise. Don't be a chicken shit either. So I sent you something tonight. I don't know if you saw it. We are, the meeting, like we're, what do you call it? The meeting we're doing when they all come down at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Over the review and stuff like that. We are doing one with the other guys I work with.
Okay.
So I sent you. I sent you. So it's similar to Traction. So people know. I mean, at one of the places Phil and I work with, we're trying to use Traction, which is entrepreneur's operating system type thing. So it gives you an idea. Yeah. EOS.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of cool and it's interesting, et cetera, et cetera. The other place I'm working is where it's similar to that. I mean, they're all it's pretty much a shell that's being used by a lot of people. They just change sort of the titles and maybe some of the methodology to get there, but it's pretty interesting, right?
I see this. Yeah. I see it. Yeah. It's an interesting system. I guess the thing that's really neat about it is just the focus, right? Like it helps.
That's what I like. It makes you focus. It makes you write things down and try to follow, right? Yeah. So that you don't do like what we're all pretty like today I should have used any operating system. Like anything would have been better than the Gong Show. I started as a Gong Show and it's ended that way. I have done 30 piles of stuff and not finished any of them. Except, I did finish the eBay packing, but that's it.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because I forgot, and then I do something else, and I moved over here, up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah.
So stupid. So, the only day off this week, only non-holiday this week, you try to work and get things caught up. And I think I'm actually farther behind than I was this morning. I don't understand what
I think it's tough though. Like I think when you go on vacation and then you come back for a day and then you go back again, it takes you a couple of days to zone out. And then so what you're doing is like you've gone away, come back from a long weekend, and then you're stepping back in and then you're leaving again. It's hard, I know. Right? Like it's really difficult. Like it's not that simple, right? So
it should be though. It shouldn't be that complicated.
No. I honestly, like, I think in our jobs, maybe it feels less complicated, right? Because we have fun jobs and we like doing them, but oh, look at that.
He's not coming on, is he?
He is coming on.
Oh my God.
So for the listeners.
Oh, this is a big night for us.
So for the listeners, we Kenny and I
big night. And he bailed on us.
Oh, he just disappeared. Where did he go? So Kenny and I had a guest, but we've just had some timing conflicts. They'll come on the show. We think, I know these guys and I love them, and I think they're going to be really cool. So when they finally arrive, I think it'll be really amazing. But Kenny and I thought, like, it's kind of the middle of summer. We've had kind of a honestly, like, it feels like we've had a really great year. I'm going to crack open some of the stats so we can look, but and so Kenny and I tonight, you're stuck with the two knuckleheads. It was the two of us, except Mark Sterling
just jammed out on us.
He jammed it. He's back. So let's see if he makes it into the room this time.
Well, he can tell us what we should be doing this better. Tells us everything else. I mean,
tells us how to be more better.
What the hell? He's bossing us around all the time anyway. May as well be useful.
Yeah.
Try to make the podcast better. I mean, it never shows up. So, I mean, the hell, right?
Mr. Sterling?
I had a banner evening. Holy jeez, we gotta write this night down.
Good
Phil.
Lord.
Write it down somewhere.
Good evening, fellas.
So listen, you are on prime time.
Look at this. You got a 7 o'clock slot.
Yeah.
Isn't it 6:30?
No, 7:18.
7:18. Yeah.
Well, 7:18 Pacific time. You guys are what? 10:18.
No, but it's still
I'm just amazed.
It's prime time
for Mark. It's prime time.
Yeah.
But I think you guys had a big guest tonight. Like, what happened? Is this?
We had a conflict. So
we had conflict.
Yeah. We'll get them back, but we've been running around.
So Phil and I were just going to talk to ourselves, and then I told him, I said, Mark's just texting. He goes, he's still awake. Get him on. So,
yeah.
Send him an invite.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to talk about the podcast today, what we want to try to do with it, etc. And you've always got opinions because you're always bossing us around, telling us what to do.
I think what you guys are doing is right on. I think the audience you guys have like what you have to say. They like the variety of guests you have. Because I've talked to some listeners. I talked to the one or two listeners that I know you guys have. And for the most part, it's good. It's educational. It's beneficial, especially for these small e-commerce businesses that are trying to get going that may not have the connections. This is a great opportunity to get those connections.
Thank you, sir. I think that's the kindest thing.
That's the nicest thing you've said in ages.
Yeah.
Nicer than anything you said today.
Because it's being recorded, I don't want to be caught saying something that I don't want to be caught saying. So
you're hilarious.
So you think you're going to make it through this podcast without saying something that's going to piss
No,
someone
I'm going to leave in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, is that what you're doing? You're bailing on us. Oh, you just got tired to be called a chicken shit or a jam tart on text. That's what. Okay.
Well, first off, you say, "Hey, join this link. Jump on. Let's talk with Phil." So I didn't even think the podcast was happening. Then I see you guys talk. So I jumped off right away.
So you dropped off on purpose. You
he's chickened out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. At least you had the nuts to come back. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I had to grab my phone, my ears at the head to the basement. The kids are sleeping. The wife's sleeping. The daughter had her first beach day with 2 girlfriends today. So she was
amazing.
Awesome. Exhausted.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ended it skinny dipping in my neighbor's pool, which was exciting to see. 6-year-old just having a fun time. So
I love when the kids do that though.
Like that's what summer's all about.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. We've had such a crazy year, right? The fact that they can have some fun like that, is
it's what's important.
Gotta be careful.
It's
Look at those numbers.
Really. Yeah.
Oh, we're both negative, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank goodness.
Good.
Thanks goodness.
We had a scare this weekend. So listeners know we were away, and the notorious part of our province that nobody wants to seem to follow rules or gets vaccinated, and then came back with a little bit of a scare, but that's done. So we're taking the folks of the island tomorrow.
Awesome. Good for you.
So what's some of the areas for improvement? Where do you think your listeners want to see Ken and Phil, or Phil and Ken, go?
I told Phil, I said I wanted to pull some numbers just to see what sort of maybe where the listeners were, or that type of thing. The problem with our world, because you got to pull from 5,000 different spots, you never get clean data. But I don't know. I think the same thing. I think as long as we stay to where we are, if we stay with small business, entrepreneurs, smaller companies, right, offer resources like we had you on, so people, if they had sales ideas or worries or questions, it's just having that on. Like we've had the lawyer on, the accountants on, right? I don't know.
I think I got 5 or 6 new LinkedIn connections just from being on your show.
Oh, that's kind of cool then.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was great to connect, and it's the platform for it. But LinkedIn is an amazing platform for that, and you guys always promote your podcast on that, and it's a great way to just expand your network. Yeah, meet new people, new friends.
We the numbers are pretty cool. Like over time, like it's kind of mind-boggling. We have 16,000 downloads all time. Like it's kind of unbelievable. Yeah, it's not so bad. So every episode, kind of first 5 days, we wind up getting 50 to 60 downloads, and then over time they all cross into kind of like 150, 180 downloads an episode.
And that's just off Apple.
That's off of Apple is our biggest. So Apple Pod, like combination Apple Podcasts and iTunes, and then Simple. People actually download it right off Simplecast, which is where we host the podcast from. And then from there it goes all over the place. Like Spotify is big for us, Stitcher is big for us, and then Podcast and Radio Addict, which is like an app that you can get for hosting podcasts, is really big for us as well. And that's just like that. So the funny thing, I think I actually said it on this show, but I'd always looked at downloads, and then I realized that like live stream is a whole different or streaming is a whole different set of numbers. And so like when I look at web players, like every episode gets 400 streams.
I usually, I'm not gonna lie, I listen to it on the web.
I download. I didn't think anybody streamed.
Okay.
I always download them. I download because I always figure, why? Because I don't listen to them at the time. So I think what I do is I download them so that they're there. And if we're in the car,
usually Tuesday morning, 8:00, once I see Phil's post, I'm listening right there and then.
Awesome.
I'm usually waiting, biting my nails. But one question I have for you guys, because I've had a couple of conversations with a few individuals who are looking to either start a podcast or venture out onto their own, either creating some kind of brokerage or consulting firms. And both of you had very successful careers. Phil, working for some large CPGs, being that sales strat, and Ken, being a buyer for 36 years. What you guys leaped out after, having these successful careers onto your own as consultants and other avenues. Like what kind of advice would you give these people who are thinking of doing this on their own?
Podcast and find a Phil.
Yeah.
It worked for me. That's what I would do. So if you're looking at podcasts, I'd go find a Phil first and foremost. Yeah.
Okay. That's not the advice I would give, but
that's not the advice you give. It's advice I'd give. But you asked me what I thought too.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, the podcast, I think it's more about making sure you know what you want. Sometimes it's really simple. Like Kenny and I, we just knew that we wanted to talk.
This is what we wanted to talk about. This is what we wanted to talk about from day one. We wanted to talk about from day one. When we sat in the coffee bar, and it wasn't me, so everybody's clear. Like Phil came up with the idea. That's what it was. We just thought we need to talk about,
I came up with a mechanism, but we had the idea. Both of us said, we'd like to do more of this. And we, oh, what does that mean? I was like, I'll go figure it out. Right. So I found the podcast mechanism, but the idea of talking more often was the two of us, right? Like we just knew it was fun to talk to each other and we wanted to keep talking to each other. Right. So I think
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I still think you pushed the podcast idea because you were the only one capable of doing it. And I just think it was probably just really cool. The timing was good. I mean, this is almost our 200th episode, eh?
Wow.
Yeah.
And we've recorded every single week except one, I think, the one I got COVID.
The one you got sick. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the only week we haven't recorded. We ended up having we recorded twice the following week or something. So we had an extra in the kitty.
You actually just spoke like the words out of my mouth that I had a conversation with a retailer from Northern California today about the difference between men and women, the strengths about being sick. And, moms are super powerful women, just superhumans. And men, as soon as we get a sniffle, Kenny, you're like on the couch, blanket around you.
Hey,
getting
I
your
was
mom
sick.
to deliver chicken noodle soup.
My mom feels better when she's taking care of me. Okay. I do that for my mom. I don't do that for me. Okay. You guys get it all wrong. I am a nice son. My mom gets really happy when she helps me. That's what it is. My mom even asks, I wonder if Phil needs any cookies. Mark need any cookies. They're coming to Vancouver. Maybe I should make them fresh cookies.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask that. Don't worry. I was going to ask a little bit closer to get there so they're nice and fresh.
So they'll be nice and fresh.
Listen, you tell your mom that I'm going to bring some cookies and we're going to do a trade. That's what I'm going to do.
You do whatever you want. Trust me, it's whatever you want. You don't have to do anything.
I'm all about bumping you out of top spot. Like I want her to be able to like funnel the Scotty straight to me. So
my mom's not going to pay for shipping. Come on, that's not going to happen. Yeah, right. If my mom and dad listen once in a while, my dad will be laughing right now because he knows there's no way she's going to pay for shipping.
I think the other advice I would give if you were starting a consultancy is the same thing, is to be really clear about what you want. And then I think the two of us are pretty calm now, but it wasn't calm in the early days. Like
it's crappy. Like seriously, the first 7 months, like your phone does not ring, and you're going thinking, oh, I know a lot of people, and people are very friendly. It's not that people were mean, but when you're I'm not gonna say it's gonna sound terrible, but when you're of less use to people, you fall off lists, right? Yeah. Now, luckily, I was pretty fortunate. I was friends with a lot of people in the industry, and still I'm friends with a lot of people in the industry. So if they didn't have anything, then I've talked over the last 5 years with different people, and for most people that I thought would have helped me, and probably more than they ever should have helped me, right? So it does come. One thing what I would tell people before you go, line up some things, right? You don't have to start anything, but line them up. Make sure you're very clear to people that you can trust and that you want to work with, and just tell them that, you're thinking, or, I'm going to contemplate leaving at this time, whatever. Start to fish, because it's not fun to fish off the dock when you got no food in the fridge, right? Now you're panicking. Yeah. And that's sort of probably Phil had the same experience I had. You're kind of just thinking, wow, you're fishing yesterday, you fished tomorrow, same fish.
Fish go away. When I jumped off, I did have a couple of them, but I did do some phoning, and I gotta say, like, there were some anxious moments, right? Like, there were lots of brands that said to me, hey, if you ever stop doing this thing, with Hubba, like, come find us. We'd love to work with you. And so like, eventually you hear that enough, you start writing down names and numbers, and then
you start believing it, right?
So I called a bunch of them back, and they were like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, why don't you call me next month? You're like, next month? Like,
I thought we had to sign. I thought you're going to send the paperwork. Like, what are we doing?
I thought you, and then you do, right? And then you start working, and then, like, really that first 7 months, there's ebbs and flows. I think the first time I had 3 customers, and all 3 finished the month with me, and they were like, okay, great, this is wonderful, we have lots to do. And I was like, wait, that's it? Like, what? Oh, holy shit. Like, what am I going to do now? Right. Like, and so you do kind of like, you send lots of emails, and then you call people, and then you sit around.
Text, email, LinkedIn,
and the kids wonder, like, why is dad around all the time? Right. Like, so you do,
it's true.
Takes a while. It really takes a while. Yeah. So,
but that's why I think I would have in hindsight, I would have lined a lot more things up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
because I think it's just a smarter play. It's hard. And honestly, because it is what it is, but a lot of people spend a lot of time with you because of what you're doing at that moment.
Yeah.
But you lose it. As soon as you become a not relevant salesperson, like if you decided to leave tomorrow, which you're not doing, by the way, but let's say you were leaving tomorrow, all of a sudden, all the guys you called on and all the girls you called on before, now they'll talk to you, but it's definitely going to be a different tone, a different time. It's not going to be on the first ring. Like you become just another person, and you'll figure it out pretty quickly that, like, I know a few of the guys that they will still be your friends. They may not be able to help you right away, but over time they'll still be there for you. But there's a lot.
Just to be clear, Kenny, I'm not asking for myself. I'm just asking for your listeners out there who.
Well, you're not allowed to leave. You remember, we have some control over your little world there, right? So not much, but some.
I think Phil has realized that I'm a rogue animal, and I beat to my own drum. And yes, I will follow rules.
You still stick around. You feel
bad.
Why would you not want to work with Phil and I? Like, seriously.
I don't think I would want it any other way. If you talk to anyone that I've worked with in my lifetime, most of them would go, that fucker, he doesn't listen to any fucking instructions. He does whatever the fuck he wants. And like, always.
Ken, hold on. I think this is the first time I've heard Phil swear. I'm really.
You don't listen well then.
No, you don't listen.
You don't listen well. I'm just consistent. No, Phil can do it.
And I promise you that if there is a salesperson who had me as a sales strat person at J&J, they'd be going, that fucker, he just does whatever he wants, and he fucking like makes us do what. I'm like, one of the ladies that I work with, she came over for dinner once. And like my kids were really small then, like Ryan was, I think he was 5, right? Just wouldn't eat certain things. And like he and I had a fight at the table, and I finally just gave up, right? Because, like we had a guest over, and she starts laughing her ass off. And she's like, that's the first time I've ever seen you lose a fight. And I gotta say, I like it. I like it that the kid just beats your ass down because nobody else seems to be able to do it. And I'm really glad to watch it, And I was like, oh my God, right? Like, so.
Are you a tyrant at work, really?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, kind of. Like, but the job, like a sales strategy job, like when you do trade marketing, you kind of have to be a tyrant. You have salespeople who are running willy-nilly trying to like sell shit for whatever they want, right? And like it's your job because the company shows up at your door to go, that is not the right feature price for that item, right? Like I'm the one who gets my ass kicked, right? So
we should yell at him more.
Yeah, so you'd wind up like showing up at salespeople's doors going, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I needed the volume. Like, not like that. You're not. Like, you do that again, you're not getting any more trade funds, right? Like, yeah, go and try and run a TPR and then have no money to pay for it. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm getting my ass kicked. Holy you're getting your ass kicked, right? Like,
you were a bully.
You were no shit, eh?
I'm telling you, man.
I was never like that. Not like you.
Like when I ran, there are certain desks where the president of J&J every Saturday morning, he would look at the Shoppers Drug Mart flyer and he would email me, this is not the right image. This is not the right image. This is not the right. Like every Saturday morning, you're like, yeah, okay. Sorry. Like, because like.
That's when you wonder if they've ever been in retail. They can send you that all day. Buyers are lazy. They don't give a shit about the image. As long as the price is right and someone can pick it up, that image ain't going to get changed.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like that's but that like when you're a trade guy, that's what happens, right? Yeah. Is like they want to know, like, I live in the GTA, right? So like every Walmart exec when I was calling on Walmart or worked with Walmart lived in Oakville. So like every Monday morning, they would all stop at the same Walmarts, right? And you would realize like they're not merchandised well, right? So I get like 8 photos, all the same photos going, this is out of, like they're your staff. Like, it's Monday morning after the weekend. What did you think was going to happen? Right. But like trade guys we get beat up all over for stuff like that. Like, everyone expects you to be able to do everything. So
Mark doesn't understand that because he never gets beat up.
No, never.
Well, not by me and Phil. Maybe other people, not by us. Let you pretty much do whatever you want.
You know how I like to act and how I stir the pot more than what I should. So it's not good.
Yes, you do that.
Phil is learning my sense of humor and my stirring the pot antics.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah. I have fun at what I do, and I enjoy every moment of it.
Yeah.
That's the fun of life, though. Otherwise, why do it? Yeah. Takes up way too much of your time. It's not a 40-hour work week, as you know. Why do it?
We should. So we have Mark Sterling on with us. So Mark Sterling,
famous.
He's famous on this show. So he
gets picked on every single episode.
Yeah, every episode we pick on Mark Sterling.
We've laid off Linda, and it's now Mark. Well, we never picked on Linda because we're scared of her.
No, Linda's the boss.
Different.
That's different. The boss gets whatever she wants, but but Mark Sterling gets
prime time tonight, baby. Prime freaking time.
Yeah.
Before 11 o'clock. I mean, who are you?
I appreciate this, guys. I really do.
No, you don't. But you're so pissed that we actually bugged you into this because you knew we were going to be chirping about you all the way. If you weren't on, you were just going to get chirped at, even if you weren't. I mean, it didn't matter.
No, and that's why I came on, just to say hi. And you know what? I'm happy you guys are having this opportunity just to talk about your podcast, how you can improve. But also, I really appreciated the wisdom and guidance you guys have provided because I think that's really what your listeners want to hear.
Appreciate
it's just more insights, more support. You know, and that's really the questions I always wanted to ask you, Ken. Like, you left the power of the pen, the buyer's desk, right? To go venture off on your own, to be that lone fish swimming without a pool. And you've managed to survive. You've done really well. But I think that you also had a very different buyer's perspective than most buyers, where you were actually friends with people you like. And you developed relationships with them. Where
totally.
I think some buyers just avoid relationships at all costs because they have to do a job. And they're
some are told to, though. Right? Just so you know, some are told to, right? Some companies do not want you to have relationships with that.
Yeah,
I think it's short-sighted. I think it's very short-sighted, to be honest with you. It is. It's not good business. If you think about the people you know more as friends, and the things you get out of them, and the things they get out of you.
Yeah.
Whether it's sometimes an extra deal, some information, right? It's mutually beneficial. But who loses on that? Yeah, I mean, understand if someone parks a Ferrari in your yard, that's maybe a little too far.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of you get some good relationships with people if you allow people into your world. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go out and buddy, but you know what it's like. It's nice to have a beer with a couple of the guys, right? Or a couple of the ladies. It's nice to go out for a dinner or chat about, how are the kids doing, the families are doing, but still have a work relationship.
There are better ways to have good working relationships besides torturing your
it's passe. It's passe.
Yeah. I remember that.
I'd walk out if I was Mark. If you look at yourself, if someone yelled at me, I'd tell them to fuck off and I'd walk out. I don't give a shit about the business. Keep it. Deal with an asshole. Why bother? Oh, it pisses me. I can't stand. I hated buyers. When I was a buyer and I knew people there was a couple we'd even joke with. Because I was, you're too nice. I said, well, you're such a prick. I mean, who would want to deal with you?
Yeah. I never understood that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of my good friends who's an owner of a store, I'm not going to name his name, but he's notorious for being a complete asshole. And one of my first meetings with him about 15 years ago, he swore up and down, cursed me up and down for things that I did not done. It was before my time. And I basically said, what do you want me to do? You want me to go back in time? I can't. I can correct the future. And right when I said that to him, he just basically changed his tune. And now we're brothers. We're friends. We're family.
And it's kind of a bully thing, right? That you stand up to him and all of a sudden, okay.
Yeah. But I didn't stand up in an aggressive way or a fighting way. I just, well, what do you want me to do? I'm not, exactly. I'm not Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future here, right? But I would love to, but I can't.
Yeah. So let me help you and stop whining. About the past. It's gone, right? I don't know, Phil. I just didn't like doing business that way. To me, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun.
Right.
It wasn't very fun. Yeah.
But whatever. It turns you crank if you like yelling at people. I guess that's your thing.
Yeah.
So Phil, when you were at Target, did you have enough time to make any friends?
Yeah.
Like with vendors, like was Target around in Canada that long, or?
Yeah, I was there for a couple of years, and
how long before it opened though?
And then I was there a year before it opened.
Okay, so that's where you probably logged a lot of your time.
And then I was there for a year of opening, and then it was around for another almost 2 years, I think.
3 years in Canada?
Oh. Yeah, I think so.
Was it that long? I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. They just.
Yeah, I don't think they just. They didn't get Canada. I don't think they understood how to do things.
They didn't, right? Like they didn't really listen to what we had to tell them.
No,
about
they didn't listen to what the vendors were telling them.
Yeah. And then but I think the thing that hurt the most was just the real estate deals they made, because they had to take all of the sellers,
right?
And they had to take them all at once, right? So it was a really big bill to swallow. You know, like they could have done what they did and run with like 60, 70 stores, and they would have done just fine. But it's Target, right? Like they don't know how to be.
No, be small.
Small.
Yeah. They should have phoned us. We would have told them.
They didn't need a call. They just needed to listen to people in the building. But
that's what happens, man.
That's what happens.
When you know more than everybody else.
We want to do some stuff with the podcast. So Mark, you might be a good test audience for some of this stuff. Hey, Kenny, you think?
Sure.
Not really.
Of course he would, because he's only. Well, the problem, because I'm just thinking he's maybe
you're
too
one of
honest.
3 listeners.
Yeah, you'd be too honest.
I'm one of the 3 listeners that we all know. Yeah. So what are some of the questions? What are some of the feedback you're looking for?
I think so. We want to be able to. So we love doing this. We've been doing it for 3.5 years. We're closing in on 200 episodes. We don't really have an intention of slowing down or doing anything different. We intend on continuing to get guests that we have, kind of like sussing out success stories. But I think one of the things that we would like to be able to do is to take the show on the road at some point. And so I guess the one that we use the most is is my friend Sarah, like on Sarah's Chocolate out in Newfoundland. She talked about opening her ice cream parlor up on top of a rock. I don't know where, somewhere in Newfoundland, right? And we talked about like going there and being able to do a live session with her, and be able to do some things like that. So there are a couple of different elements, but we think that being able to take this on the road a little bit would be really interesting. We think that would be really fun. Also being able to offer possibly like a way to be able to help people, give them access to more expertise. So whether that's through a Patreon, sort of like an exclusive account or anything like that, being able to help them, with their businesses as well, I think would be really interesting.
Well, I got a great venue for your first on the road show, which you guys have probably already brainstormed. I think the week of the 23rd, Phil, you're going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where this all really kind of developed and started. And East Van, I think, is where you're staying. So I think there's this great coffee bar on the drive. You guys should go there and do your first out of set studio, whatever you call your locations, and do it there. I think that'd be kind of a cool kind of, maybe it would be your 200th episode. I don't know. But it would be kind of a
pretty damn close to the 200. You know what it's going to probably be, though? It's probably going to be outside on the deck, right?
Yeah, it's actually really, really close because we are episode 195. So this will be 196, and then so 198. But we could save it and then put it out on our 200th. Or we could. So
actually, we're going to do the podcast here. You're right. We're going to probably do it at the house here.
We had intended to do a live podcast because the two of us together doesn't happen very often, right? So
it would be kind of cool to have Kenny's mom pop in, though, just with cookies. Hey, Kenny, here's your cookies.
Hey, I could do it. I mean, she's not that far away.
Listen, your mom's cool. She didn't stop by any time. Like it would be freaking.
Oh, it could all work out. It could all work out.
What you guys did with that the holiday time where you had a whole bunch of your guests on for that happy hour, I thought that was kind of cool. It was cool.
That was really fun.
Yeah. I think what you guys are doing is just making it better, and I think that what what you guys are thinking of outside the box, going on the road, is cool. Is absolutely.
It'd be kind of fun, right? I mean, we've talked about even some of the industry shows. You know, you go to an industry show, maybe just grab a table and do some stuff there or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Don't be those guys walking around though, like doing live interviews on your podcast though.
I don't think we're good at that.
No,
I don't think we're good at that.
You guys aren't journalists.
We
did
try it. So we tried at Global Pet. We did some walking around. We tried to record us going to different booths, but I don't know if it worked.
It doesn't feel. It didn't even feel right though. It just feels. I don't know, it feels contrived.
Yeah.
Right. We're better off just doing this, right?
So, yeah.
Like when nothing's planned is better. Like you weren't planned. It's just because you started texting.
Yeah.
And we just thought, okay, if he's still awake, then he should come on. That's what we like to do. It's more of the, you know, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then it works out good with you around too, because you will be honest. You'll tell us what you think. Right. So
I think also like the on the road stuff, it'd be cool. I mean, some of the retailers that are out there and some of the shops that they have, like being able to do walkthroughs of some of their shops. Like we disrespect them a lot, but I don't mean like a Loblaws or something like that, right? But there's some just really cool retailers with some great shops that we could do. I think that would be interesting as well at some point. So there could be something there as well. Yeah, I know. It'd be cool, I think. It'd be fun. Yeah.
Hey, Dano, the meatloaf.
I can hear Millie's yelling at Dano right now.
Yeah. So funny.
I got to go on mute. See? Okay, they're finished. She just walked in the house. I don't know what she's yelling at me for. And it's not yelling because Amelia never yells at Daniel. Nobody yells at Daniel. Well, I yell at Daniel, but nobody else yells at Daniel.
Yeah. So we're thinking that. And then I guess the other one that
I think ultimately we'd like to do more of this. Like I think I would love to see if we could take this more almost like part-time. You know what I mean? Like I like doing this. I like doing the podcast. I like talking to people. I like hearing the stories more than anything. Right? I think it'd be kind of cool. Do a little more.
I think I'd be curious from you and from our listeners too, is like one of the things, obviously, like to go part-time, to do some traveling, we've got to be able to monetize parts of the show, right? So we have been approached before with things like, commercials. Do you put commercials in it? We kind of got like we have one semi-serious inquiry into that, and we said no, right? We decided no, but we don't know if the audience has an appetite for that. Like, would you put up with a commercial somewhere in
Try NRC. It tastes fantastic. It's coming into cold and flu. It's a great way to boost your immunity with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
No. We didn't offer you a free commercial spot.
No, we thought about. You know what it is? Because I listen to podcasts, Mark, and when they're halfway through and then they'll go to this break, and I'm thinking, I don't want to.
So I'm a sports guy. I love sport podcasts. So I'm a avid listener to people just talking. And one of the ones I do listen to is Barstools, and they do monetize their Barstools podcast big time. But they are clever on how they are talking, and then they segue into their commercial talk.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. So I listen to for that aspect. But I don't think your listeners would be upset if it's done tastefully. And it's not a long, 40-second, 30, minute long commercial. But I think if it's, if it's within your kind of small business or small, up and coming emerging brands, I think it's okay.
I don't want to detract from it, right? That's all we're worried about. You don't want to sell. They don't want to look like a sellout. Like maybe if it's a small, but if it's a small brand, we'd probably just do it.
Yeah.
Because
I think it has to be a service.
I think you guys would be challenged because you guys are too nice, right? You guys are too kind.
You don't want to screw little companies, right?
Someone's going to call you up like NRC and say, hey, we're just a small business and we want to promote our effervescent vitamin C brand. That's 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C for immunity, for cold and flu.
Is it vitamin C? Is it mineral ascorbate? That's what I've heard. Is that true?
Yes, Kenny.
Oh my God. I think it wouldn't be brands. I actually think it might be services.
I bet you'd be more services.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think if you're looking for accounting help, lawyer help, maybe HR help, or
software,
things like that.
HubSpot, Zendesk.
It doesn't feel as bad.
Like that. Yeah.
Why
don't
a
brand like
NRC,
NRC brand wouldn't be a big deal. Like there's our things
too, right? So,
have you done more interactive, like where you've had listeners write in questions on a weekly basis, and then that you answer those questions on your podcast? Or have we've done some podcast.
Of that. We've asked for questions. Yeah. You don't necessarily get a lot of questions sent in, right?
We don't.
Right.
We don't.
So sometimes what we do is like, if we're talking, I mean, we'll talk about things like, I've talked to Mark today, this is what came up, and we've run podcasts off topics maybe you and I've talked about, or if he's talked to Chloe or other people in the industry or whatever. So that does happen, right? Yeah. I mean, it does, but we don't get a lot of questions come in, not necessarily, right?
Mm-mm.
And I think also because, Mark, we've done so many guests in the last while, right?
Yeah.
Like Phil and I don't talk about ourselves much anymore. Most of the episodes are guest, right?
Yeah.
Which I kind of like too, but there are times when I do like to talk about just normal things. Like, I mean, I know maybe, it might be just the three of us listening right now because we're talking about, what to do with the podcast, et cetera. Maybe nobody's interested in that part of it per se, but I like it. I'm curious to,
This will be the lowest downloaded podcast ever. Of 196. 196 will be going down in the record books for the shortest podcast and less listeners, or fewest listeners. But I'm happy to be part of your record book.
Paul Pollock for the longest time was our number one down.
Yeah, he was.
He's not anymore. Good, thank goodness.
Oh. Is he or isn't he?
No, not anymore.
He still talks about it like he is. So I'll let him have that fame.
No, but he's pretty close though. He's pretty close. So
he's got to be up there.
It makes sense. He's got a good face for radio.
I think Jake actually bumped him.
Jake's got a better face for radio.
He's an absolute legend though, Jake. So
yeah,
he's a beauty. That guy. I swear to God, I love him.
But he's so intelligent. Like he is a really bright kid. Both all three of them at Middays are. Like they are just bright individuals that really have a great concept, and they're working their plan.
You know what? It's every day or every other day in LinkedIn, there's something new. 1 million this, 2 million that, all the numbers they're hitting. We have Nick coming on, don't we, Phil?
Yeah, we do. That was another one we wanted to be able to do a factory tour. That would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Plus,
nothing wrong with Montreal.
Well, right now they have some outbreaks.
So the other ones that are really high.
Or BC, we don't have to worry about Montreal.
Angie Baker was really high. So Angie Baker is the one CPG. She's like Catman CPG and strategic skills, and then she was the one who got deployed down to Washington D.C.
Right,
and then down to Mexico, and so she got really.
She was doing really different things. There was a
She's really close to bumping off Rich as well. Like Rich is number 2, Jake is number 1, Rich is number 2, and then Angie's number 3. Really? Mike Roberts is another one that's super high on the list.
Wow.
From Purity Life. So yeah, very high. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Again, small business is looking for experts, right?
Yeah.
Looking for help.
Yeah.
No, but he would speak to your audience, because if you are a small brand and you want to have a distributor, like they are best in class, or one of the best in class.
They're one of the best in class for sure. Natural channel, 100%, and they do work in mass as well.
Yeah.
And groceries.
And they're good people. They're honest people. They're
that's the best part.
Around, and that's what I really enjoy, right?
No, that's what we like about them too. That's why we had him on, right? At least it's someone I like people like that.
Yeah, he's good people.
So that way, if people are looking for different things, then you're not.
One podcast that I thoroughly enjoy that you guys have done, and maybe it's another have him back on, is the gentleman from ECRM. Just because you had him on during
Tarnowski.
And now there's Expo East happening in Philadelphia in September, and I'm contemplating whether or not I go down just for the day to tour around. I'm not hearing much interaction of anybody even going. Broker teams aren't even thinking about sending their teams. Retailers aren't I don't know when in-person shows will really truly.
I don't think it's definitely not this year, Mark. I wouldn't go. Not to the States for sure. Oh my God.
There's a retail. I mean, Lisa M. Lanny is going to a show in August, right? That in Chicago, but like their numbers are their numbers have kind of lost their mind, right? So you kind of like,
I wouldn't go.
I worry.
Did they 105,000 cases yesterday or today?
Yeah.
Their numbers are insane down there. There's no freaking way. Now, maybe the different states, obviously. I think the northern states are a little bit better than some of the southern ones, but I wouldn't go down there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Forget it. It's not worth it. Not to a show, especially now. Like, you can do this outside of the fact. Like, I'm actually looking forward to having you both come out in a couple weeks, because it'd be nice to actually see everybody.
Yeah,
the phone's fine, but I haven't seen you, Mark. What, in 2 years? November. I haven't seen Phil since a year ago, February.
Year ago, February.
No, I think we'll be 2 years, Kenny, this February. I'm pretty sure I saw you in Vancouver, my last trip to the West. February 2020 for CHFA West.
No, because was I here?
I think
was I in Mexico at that time?
You were here Wednesday or Tuesday when we went to some meat bar, which I thought was pretty excited about, which is a vegetarian spot.
Oh, we went to, who did we go to meet with?
Well, with Chloe. And you guys are like, oh, we're going to go meet. And
we went. It's called Meat on Main.
I'm going to eat as much meat as I can. But it was actually delicious.
They're awesome vegan. Food. It's not vegetarian either. It's vegan.
Yeah, no,
the food was really good there. Like, it's awesome. Really good. But yeah, if you're craving a steak, you ain't going to get it.
Oh, no, I went in craving a big sandwich. Yeah.
And remember they talk about, this is like chicken wings. No, they're not like chicken wings. They're really good, but don't call them chicken wings, because they're not
you know, cauliflower. I have lots of Muslim friends, and they're all like, chicken bacon is just like bacon. I'm like, listen, that's really cute.
It's cute. You've never had bacon, so no, you don't know.
No. Yeah, you should keep telling yourself that.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to replicate pork fat. Pork fat is just a lovely entity on its own.
Yeah, it's
right. It's like margarine is like butter. No, not even close.
No, not even close.
No.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely. I think that's the other part of this, right? We should do more of is helping people figure out what they want to do after they are done.
We've had guests do that too. Like Alan Bates came on, right?
Yeah.
That's why, because Al left Unilever in mid-50s, bounced once, did a great job, bounced again, did another great job. Like, there are people that, I guess what it is, you just can't be, it's hard to say. I mean, you got to be your own thing. It's hard. You just got to do it. If you really want to do it, just do it. But I would line a few things up first. If you're back to that original part.
Yeah. Just have that in mind, right? Like,
but just do it.
Yeah.
I did it. What the hell do I know? Ended up okay. Right? Got to know. I got to do you two losers. I mean, what the hell? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You got that one right.
I am the beholder, but yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. I think that turned out okay.
Yeah.
My mom likes you guys. That's pretty good.
We like your mom.
You know.
We do. Yeah. Man.
Mark, I think it's almost bedtime for you there, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's a great.
11 o'clock.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate my this is my third time now on the podcast. So
Mark Sterling, really, prime time.
Appreciate
big
it.
Leagues, big
keep
leagues.
Doing your great work. Keep doing your great talking. But yeah, if you don't mind getting that ECRM guy back on would be great.
Yeah, we'll reach out to him. It's a good idea.
See what Joseph is up to.
See what he has to say.
And if you can negotiate any better rates for NRC, this brand of NRC vitamin C.
What is NRC?
What is that, like 3 ad spots now we've sold and
sold, we gave away like usual. We got our usual rate. Zip.
Yeah. You guys are good at collecting big money though.
Thanks,
boys.
Sure.
Thanks, boys.
Marky, we'll talk to you in the morning.
Mark,
all right.
take care, man.
Good. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Good, everybody.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye.
That's funny that he came on. Surprised me. You know what? If you call him chicken shit enough, like it gets to him. Or he just doesn't. It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts him. So deep down, he's just massively sensitive.
Yeah.
Massively sensitive.
So I guess this is one that if you're a listener, I know the boss will have an opinion. We would love to hear
input, even if it's last guests that have been on.
Yeah, even if you think we're on crack and
yeah, I mean,
we'd like to hear that too.
Well, I think the whole show's stupid. You want to be listening.
Yeah, don't be mean. So if the whole show is stupid, maybe just don't tell us that.
Or just find a way to tell us that's not like I just don't be mean. It's not
no,
nice.
We're dumb like that. They either got to tell us or they don't, right? So
that's not to tell us. Just you know what? Just be like just lie. Just be like everybody else.
But we do, like I love doing this. I love doing this with you, and I love talking to listeners. So we'd love to know what you guys think and whether you think you'd want to see more of us. Or
different, or something we're not doing that maybe we should be doing, or something we've done that we haven't done in a while that you'd like to see again, or whatever.
Any one of those things. Reach out, let us know. We'd love to know.
That would be awesome. Okay, I got nothing else for you, man. I got to do some spreadsheet work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have. I think the only other thing is we were talking about all this COVID stuff and like planning. Kenny and I
don't know how we're going to plan this.
We are working. Well, clearly we work with Mark, and we are planning a strategic meeting for the leaders of the company so that we can, because this is one of those key things, right? We need to plan together. We need to build together. We need to grow together.
It's getting really hard to keep doing this on Zoom. I think we got to be with each other.
Yeah. And so we booked something in what we thought was a fairly safe window. Everybody's double vaxxed, and the rates were the lowest when we booked. Like literally, that was
a week ago.
And we were good. And now like rates in both countries, same country, both regions have started to go up like crazy now. So we, like a week later after we put everything to bed, we just canceled the team dinner because we don't think it's responsible.
Took people off the meeting schedule.
So
maybe have way less at the house. Now we're trying to figure, okay, when we get there, arrange the furniture.
Yeah.
So I think we need to socially distance. I think we if we can't, masks might be the way to do it. We probably need to buy wipes for shared common spaces.
Yeah.
Right. Which sounds it just doesn't seem like you get ahead, right? But we want to make sure everybody's safe. We don't want anybody to get sick.
No, we don't want that. So anyway, I guess that's the last thing is like, goodness, how crazy this is. So
I don't know if anybody else is doing it. Do you think people are still are trying to get back into the meetings? Like I'm sure we're not the only ones who thought, okay, it's finally calmed down. Do you think it's time? And they probably did the same thing. People booked and then thinking, oh shit.
I mean, it's really like, and that's the struggle, right? Is like, I think our families are already asking like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go? And like, there's a pressure to go, and then there's a pressure to be safe and not go. And, and then we all know like 3 weeks from now, it might be like way crazier than it is right now.
Who knows? Right? So, maybe the flights will end up getting canceled. Right? I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah, they might just shut us down, right? So
I doubt it. I think we just got to be I think we just got to be smart. We're all double vaxxed.
Yeah.
Right. We're relatively intelligent people. I think we just need to practice what we've been told. Stay apart.
Yeah.
Mask up when we need to.
Yeah.
And just limit the amount of people in that house.
It's craziness.
Right. Anyway, my bubble's not very big.
I don't have a bubble.
Right.
It's just family.
Yeah. Mark's is the same. Stella's the same.
Yeah.
So it's really just, it's Sarah and Chloe.
We almost need to think about, the other thing to think about is like for the three of us that are traveling out there and then coming back is, do we need to suggest some protocols for coming back? So, do we need to do a test when we get back so that we're not exposing the family to anything?
To be honest, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know, like, can you just go to a testing place in BC if you're not a resident?
I've no idea. Like, I have no idea, like, because I don't understand.
Or you get tested at the airport.
Like now that you're double vaxxed, now that I'm double vaxxed, I like some of that stuff isn't so clear to me, right? So,
well, we went and got tested today. I told you.
Yeah.
Because we weren't sure if we had been exposed this past weekend.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Do we have to go?
I don't know.
I mean, I probably responsibly we should, because I think we were more worried about my folks. But I mean,
it's complicated.
There's got to be testing that you can rapid test you can do at the airport.
Yeah, I would think so. Even at Pearson, like when we land, right? But we'll see.
Or before you go, to make sure you don't have it then, or find out when you land here, and just go ask somebody. So listen, if we're taking off on Friday morning. Yeah. Like, do I have to, if I'm 3 hours ahead, like, but what, again, test positive. Now what?
Yeah.
Now you got to quarantine 2 weeks in the city.
I don't know.
That's why people don't do things though, right? Because you're thinking, shit,
because it's not clear.
Vancouver.
It's not clear.
Right?
Yeah. None of it's clear. Yeah.
Anyway,
on such a great note, young man, you have a wonderful night and then have a wonderful vacation.
Yeah. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow before we go, and that'll be it for the weekend. And then you're gone.
Okay. I'm gone next week, but I'll be around Wednesday. So I'll be gone the rest of the week. So yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Ciao,
okay,
buddy.
My friend. We chat soon.
Okay. Take care.
Ciao, bud. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.